All right, good afternoon, everybody. If you could, please come in and have a seat. So tonight, we're proposing to pass a budget for the county for fiscal year 2026. It's 5:30. We'll allow public comment from 5:30 till 6 o'clock. I ask that each of you come to the podium, say your name and your address. Please keep it to 3 minutes. We have several people here. I would like everybody to have the ability to speak that would like to speak in that 30-minute section. And before we start, I would like to start with our prayer and pledge. Sheriff, would you care to lead us?
Gracious and kind Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for the knowledge you give us, Lord. We thank you for the many blessings you give us, dear Father. Watch over us all, Lord. Bless this county, dear Father, that we may be where you want us to be, dear Father. Give us our sins and where we've been so many times. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If somebody would like to speak, please come to the...
I'll start it off. Good evening, Commissioners. First, I'll start off saying $1.57 is just too high. It's just a little bit too much for the taxpayers of this county, for property taxpayers. A proposal that was given probably about 4.5 years ago that would have helped with this budget was that to put all public safety, except for the Sheriff's Department and the jail, under emergency management. That total amount under this proposed budget, but then under emergency management, been $4,434,252. Now, under it being under emergency management, would allow the county and emergency management to request half of that budget back from the state and federal government. Mr. Chairman, if you'll allow me to read this so
Yes, sir.
that I better explain it. Federal regulations governing the Emergency Management Assistance Program, which provides federal finance contributions to states like Tennessee and the political subdivisions, including local EMAs, allow for up to 1/2 of necessary and essential state and local civil defense personnel and administrative expenses to be covered by federal funds. This means that local EMAs in Tennessee can receive federal funding through the EMA program for up to 50% of their personnel and administrative costs, provided they meet certain requirements and have an approved plan in place. The main requirement of that would be to receive these funds, local EMAs must have an approved county emergency management plan and program in place consistent with the Tennessee Emergency Management Plan, which ours does. This would allow up to half of that budget, which would be $2,217,126 to be given back to the county. That'd be 22 cents of what the proposed increase is. If you only got a quarter of that, that would be $1,108,563, which would be 11 cents of that, what you proposed. This would just help take the burden off the property tax and the property owners, and would allow an easier way for this budget to possibly go through. You would only be talking about a 14-cent difference there, and that's within a workable range. But I have friends that are right there on the border of making enough money, not making enough money to get some relief from property tax, and this increase is going to be a financial strain on them, not just because of the property inflation that has increased over the last several years and all other factors involved. And they are, I mean, like me, I can, go work a part-time job. I need to make a difference. In fact, this proposed budget would help my family, but it's not worth helping us if it's going to hurt my friends and my neighbors. We've got to live with each other. We all have friends in our communities that you all serve, and I want to allow y'all to realize what other impacts and things that you could consider that would help this budget. So I appreciate it. If you have any questions about it?
You said you had mentioned when you first started that this was proposed a few years ago?
Proposed about 4.5 years ago.
Okay, and that's when you were a commissioner. Do you remember why that did not pass at the time?
Main thing was they were afraid to put some of these, like EMS and such, under EMA, that it would, there would be some differences there.
Okay.
So, but, differences can be worked out to help the community.
Thank you.
All right.
Good evening. Crystal Templeton, 738 Webs Camp Road. Thank you for hearing my opinion again. I really do appreciate you guys listening to not just my opinion, but a lot of people's opinions. I will ask you to take your feelings and set them aside, as I may step on some toes tonight. First and foremost, you guys are amazing. Y'all are working really hard, especially the ones that I've had personal conversations with, to be completely transparent. I know you are tired, I know you are worn out, and you may be tempted to just throw your hands up and pass something so that you can be done with it. Please don't. Everyone keeps telling me that they don't know when we're going to get a certified tax rate. Here's the way I see it. If the county commissioners and the county executive and the finance director are on that deadline with the state comptroller's office, then our local assessor has to be on a deadline to make his corrections. So the tax rate is going to be coming. My opinion, it is ludicrous for you to pass a budget, any budget, until we know that this tax rate, what this tax rate is likely to be. There have been so many changes to the assessments that $1.21 is probably completely off the table at this point. We have no idea whether it's going to be $1.16 or $1.36 when it does finally come back from the state. And I speak on that because I've talked to 10 people out of the entire county that have had their assessments changed, lowered, right? The 121 came in with these high assessments. It's over $500,000 with just 10 people, myself included, worth of changes. So that 121, we don't know where it's going to come in at. The other thing is, guys, it's no different. Y'all are trying to set a budget tonight before we know where the tax money is going to come in at. That would be like me going out and buying a new house and the bank saying, yeah, we're gonna give you this loan for $700,000, but we don't know what your mortgage payment and your interest is gonna be for a few weeks. It's ludicrous. There's just no way for you to gauge. So you really don't know how bad you are hurting your constituents, right? And the last thing I would like to point out, the comptroller's not gonna come in here July 1st and be like, you guys didn't pass the budget, we're taking over. Someone correct me if I'm wrong after my 3 minutes, but I think we have until August or September. So I'm asking you to vote no on the 157. If you didn't look and really dive into these pay raises that I just got a copy of today, you definitely need to vote no on 157. Some of the pay raises are reasonable. Some of them, ludicrous. And the last thing, there was a rumor that there was a $1.42 proposal sent out to the county commissioners that was not sent out to the public. So if you vote no on the 157 and they try to ask you to vote on that 142 tonight, you guys, it's not fair to you for that to be sent in on a Father's Day weekend. You haven't had a chance to look at it. It's not been shown to any of this. If that rumor's true, I think that all 14 of you should say no to that, absolutely. Because that's not fair to you and it's definitely not fair to us. Thank you.
Come on up, Miss Connie.
My name's Connie Davis. Guys, I'm listening to what she said, and it's true. Please don't hurt our county. Please. These people in this county has lived here their whole life. We can't put them in a strap to where they're going to have to borrow money to pay their taxes. That's a shame. If you don't have the money in your budget to pass this 157 or pass this budget, you better wait till you have the money. After all, I brought up the fact of the $2 million we're supposed to get from Waste Management. We can't use that money because it's not in our possession yet. So how are you going to pass a budget on money you ain't got in possession yet? Thank you.
Thank you, Connie.
Folks, we don't need more taxes. We need to lower the taxes.
Sir, what's your name?
People,
Sir, please,
Yeah.
your name, sir?
James Whitley,
Thank you.
we don't need more taxes. We tax to death now. Not just like, we keep an animal service up. They charge me $200 a mile now. Animal service, don't need no county money. Because it was 4 miles from my house to the hospital, and they charged me $800. So people vote no on tax, because we don't need none. We need to make them lower, not higher, need to make them lower. So it's left up to you on paper. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rittenberry.
Dana Ellis. I would like to also encourage all of you all not to vote the 1.57 in. I know there are funds we have to have in order to operate the county. And I know that there are people that hadn't had a raise in the last 4 years. And I'm all for those raises. But I've said this before, why do we have to give it all at one time raise? Let's wait and see what kind of income we're going to get from the landfill. Approximately, what I've been told is maybe $700,000. Let's see next year and see what kind of income there is. Maybe we can where if we don't give all those raises that you're talking about, or at least the average 15% raise, maybe next year, once we know more about what we're going to be able to generate, maybe we can look at raising them again next year.
You're making a very valid argument, and that what you're saying is almost verbatim what we've told these folks for the last 8 years since I've been on the commission. Let's wait till next year, maybe things will be better. Let's wait till next year and see if this happens. Let's wait till next year and see if this happens. In the 8 years I've been on the commission, we've not fixed it for them. And I understand, I completely understand where you're at.
I'm not saying cut all those raises out. I'm not saying that. Just let's not get exorbitant on these raise situations that's averaging is 15% right this moment, right this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Brent Teebaugh, 2210 Plum Creek Road, and I want to say thank you guys for your hard work. I know it's tough. Can't please everybody. I've been in White County, Sparta for 34 years, came from Oklahoma, and I've always had very conservative values. When I moved here in 1991, I voted Republican. I've always voted Republican. But I came here and when I went to the voting booth, I mean, they say you voting Republican or Democrat, the line for Republicans was very, very short. And since then, and I'd say I'm voting Republican, they look at you like you got lobsters coming out your ears. And so, but this county has become very, very conservative in the last 15 years. And I hate to see our taxes go up as much as they are. I understand you got to run the government, and that's perfectly understandable, but there's been some 100% increases. In my property tax itself, is almost doubled. So that kind of hits hard. I'm retired now. And so, every dollar counts. But I would encourage you, commissioners, to do your due diligence and vote no on this. And I appreciate it. I appreciate everything y'all do. Thank you.
Thank you.
His chicken there. That's what he said. I'll grab it. His horse is quit running his leg for shaking.
I have about 8 minutes till 6. We have time for a couple, 3 more comments if anybody else would please like to come forward before 6 o'clock. When he came back.
He was coming back, he left his phone. I'm gonna
You working? How you stop? Is that underneath?
Derek.
Mr. Sherrill, I'm sorry.
No problem. Hey, I just like to say, appreciate y'all very much. I'm Paul Sherrill. Big question that has been coming to me from different people is they would like to know more information about the landfill. My understanding the landfill has sold, and my understanding the county was supposed to receive quite a bit of money off the landfill. And is that true or not true? And have we got the money, or are we going to get money off the landfill or not? If anybody can elaborate or answer the question.
You may address that,
Mr.
Commissioner?
Executive, sure.
I don't know if I should look at you. I feel like funny not looking at you. The landfill did sell. There was the money's coming in phases. There was initial at signing $2 million.
$2 million?
$2 million. That money was received. We paid off some debt at the landfill and bought 2 new roll-off trucks. When the permit gets approved for their expansion and operate down there, which we anticipate happening before the end of the year, that will be another $2 million. When that happens, then they'll start start taking in trash and start operating the landfill, and we'll get a host fee of $1.50 per ton. That will, we anticipate that running between around between $650,000 and $750,000 a year. Then when that's up and running, they were going to be permitting for an expansion. This is anticipated to be probably within 8 to 10 years. When that permit is granted, that will be a $12 million check that comes to the county.
12 million?
12 million. And then we'll continue to hit the host fee after that. Then if there's any other additional expansions or stuff, that's the plan. That's the plan for the life of it. But if something happens above and beyond that, we will also get a fee for any other expansions that happen. So you're looking at approximately 40 million over about 20 years.
40 million over 12 years?
20.
20 million?
No, 40 million over 20 years.
40 million over 20 years?
Yes.
Okay. So, as I said, I've had several people ask me about the landfill and the money that is supposed to be getting from the landfill to be used for what in our county. I don't know, I'm just approaching y'all to ask that question. Sounds like a pretty good chunk of money, and I know there's people here tonight that's unhappy about raising taxes, and nobody wants to raise the taxes, but I understand sometimes taxes are raised. It's just part of life. But if there's going to be this much money that he's talking about coming from the landfill, how much do we need to raise property taxes? So just something to think, and as people approach me and ask about the landfill, about the gross of money that's supposed to be coming from the landfill of the selling of it, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more. Anybody else like to come up before we start the meeting? Anybody else? All right, I will call our meeting to order. All right, we've already had the prayer and the pledge. I'll do roll call, please.
Kyle Goff.
Here.
Larry Daniels.
Here.
Kane Rogers.
Here.
Chris Brington. Lanny Selby.
Here.
Dakota White.
Here.
Robert McCormick.
Here.
Becky Golden. Here.
Derek Hutchings.
Here.
Jordan Koch.
Here.
Roger Mason.
Here.
Thomas Markison.
Here.
TK Austin.
Here.
David Cranford.
Here.
I have 14 present.
All right, we do have a quorum. Number 5 on the consent calendar, approval spread of minutes from the consent calendar.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And it carries. Okay, number 6, resolutions from Steering Committee A. Chairman Austin will give us a brief description of those two.
Okay, resolution 4606, 2025, is to adopt Jersey Pike to the county road list. And we have all the recommendation from Jerry Sawyer and all the paperwork in order for that. And then resolution 4706, 2025 is mineral severance tax, which that is a tax that will be put on by the state. This is a state thing, it's not anything that we are putting on, that will be added to sand, gravel, sandstone, chert, and limestone. And it'll be added in increments over the next 5 years. And this will, it'll be like a 15, a 20, and a 25-cent increase, which that will, each nickel of that will equate to about $25,000 per nickel, which actually goes to the highway department. So that's what that is.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will entertain a motion to approve both unless someone would like to separate those.
I'll make a motion to approve both.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Lanny Selby,
Yes.
Chris Brington,
Yes.
Kane Rogers,
Yes.
Derek Hutchings,
Yes.
TK Austin,
Yes.
Dakota White,
Yes.
David Cranford,
Yes.
Larry Daniels,
Yes.
Kyle Goff,
Yes.
Becky Golden,
Yes.
Robert McCormick,
Yes.
Roger Mason,
Yes.
Jordan Koch,
Yes.
Thomas Markison.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? I have 14 yes.
All right, motion carries. Number 7, a resolution from Steering Committee B. Chairman Mason, would you please explain that?
Yeah, 4806, 2025 is a resolution to authorize a $12.50 charge by the clerk for every court in White County having jurisdiction of state misdemeanors and felonies for the purposes authorized and set out in Tennessee Code annotated 40-3-106. So this is basically a resolution that authorizes the clerk to collect this fee on behalf of the state for things that come before the court in the county, state misdemeanors and felonies. And that $12.50 is collected for the district attorney's office. And this resolution just authorizes the collection of that fee.
Thank you for the explanation. Entertain a motion
to adopt.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Kyle Goff,
Yes.
Larry Daniels,
Yes.
Kane Rogers,
Yes.
Chris Brington,
Yes.
Lanny Selby, Dakota White,
Yes.
Robert McCormick,
Yes.
Becky Golden,
Yes.
Derek Hutchings,
Yes.
Jordan Koch,
Yes.
Roger Mason,
Yes.
Thomas Markison,
Yes.
TK Austin,
Yes.
David Cranford.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? I have 14 yes.
All right, motion carries. Number 8, resolutions from Oversight and Ethic Committee. Executive Robinson, would you care to explain those two, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have 2 resolutions, Resolution 4906, 2025, which both of these will be doing the same, but amendments to our bylaws. It will require a 2/3 majority vote. But the first one, 4906, 2025, is to allow our county commissioners, under very limited circumstances, to be able to attend and participate in meetings electronically. There's a whole list of exceptions. You can only do it twice a year. It has to be a medical emergency, active military service, or inclement weather. There's limits on how many commissioners can be electronic at one time. And also, the presence there does not count towards a quorum. There has to be a quorum present before business can be conducted, a quorum on site. Second resolution, 5006-2025, is an amendment to the bylaws concerning the accepted and donated assets to the county. This is basically a procedure to go through to make sure that every commissioner knows about it and that the proper financial impact is given to y'all, so y'all know any associated costs with any donations that we get. Again, these are both amendments to bylaws, so requires 2/3 majority. I'm sorry, any questions?
Yes, it's 4906, the one you said electronic right there?
Yes.
Who pays for that? Does the county pay for that, or do we pay for it out of general funds, or?
I don't anticipate any costs being associated with that. It would just be like a Zoom. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Unless someone opposes, I'll entertain a motion to approve both.
Mr. Chairman, I'd ask that I request that we vote on these separately.
Okay.
I'll second that.
So I have Resolution 49-06-2025. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on 49-06-2025? Roll call.
Dakota White,
Yes.
Becky Golden,
No.
TK Austin,
Yes.
Roger Mason,
Yes.
Jordan Koch,
Yes.
Kyle Goff,
No.
Robert McCormick,
Yes.
Larry Daniels,
No.
Kane Rogers,
No.
Thomas Margison,
No.
David Cranford,
Yes.
Chris Brington,
No.
Lanny Selby,
Yes.
Derek Hutchings.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? I have 8 yes, 6 no.
All right. Motion does not carry 2/3 majority. Resolution 50-06-2025, amendment to bylaws for acceptance of donated assets.
Motion.
Have a motion?
Second.
Any other discussion on that? All right, roll call.
Lanny Selby,
Yes.
Chris Brington,
Yes.
Kane Rogers,
Yes.
Derek Hutchings,
Yes.
TK Austin,
Yes.
Dakota White,
Yes.
David Cranford,
Yes.
Larry Daniels,
Yes.
Kyle Goff,
Yes.
Becky Golden,
Yes.
Robert McCormick,
Yes.
Roger Mason,
Yes.
Jordan Koch,
Yes.
Thomas Margison.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? I have 14 yes.
All right, motion carries. Now, resolutions from the Budget Committee. We have Chairman Goff. And Chairman Goff, I would ask if you would address A through F and pause before that would be all of the amendments for 2025. Before we go to 2026 resolutions, if it appeases the court, I have an additional new budget amendment that I would like to ask for consideration before we start on 26 information.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a lot coming from Budget Committee, so bear with me, please. We have Resolution 5106-2025. This is amendments to the General Purpose School Fund. The first is funds out of the General Purpose School Fund balance for the Dole Elementary construction in the amount of $1.9 million. The second part of that resolution is to appropriate funds for HVAC repair at the CTE building at the White County High School. And then components 3 and 4 of that resolution are just reallocating funds between different categories for the fiscal year 25 year-end cleanup. None of those affect the maintenance of effort, and there's no recurring expenses within those. Resolution 5206-2025 is the general cafeteria fund. We're reallocating $309,219 as part of fiscal year 2025 year-end cleanup. No maintenance of effort and no effect on the fund balance on those. Resolution 5306-2025 is the Highway Public Works Department. This is appropriating and reallocating funds as part of the fiscal year 25 year-end cleanup. No maintenance of effort, doesn't affect the fund balance. Resolution 5406, 2025 is also Highway Public Works funds. This is appropriating $30,000 from the fund balance of the Highway Public Works account to repair 2 tractors that are currently down. And Resolution 5506, 2025 is pertaining to the general fund. This is taking the $1,500 that we had already appropriated for rentals for storage for the clerk's office of documents and adding an additional $18,500 of that from fund balance to buy a unit for a total of $20,000. And this would eliminate the need for us to have that monthly recurring rental expense. And Resolution 5606, 2025 is also with the general fund. There's 12 different amendments in this resolution. This is reallocating funds as part of the fiscal year 2025 cleanup. None of those 12 affect maintenance of effort or the fund balance. This is to just put things in more proper alignment with how we budgeted. And so I'll stop there, and we have a piece of new business.
Yes, so I called Director of Finance, Mr. Markham, after our last budget meeting, and I'd asked him if there was any additional funds that we could pull from the 25 budget for possibly funding one of the ambulances. In the 2026 proposal, we have 2 remounts proposed. Mr. Markham felt like we could, in fact, pull one of those remounts into the 25 budget. So Resolution 63-06, 2025 would be to amend the general fund to have 1 additional remount in the 25 budget versus the 26 budget. Would we like to vote on all of these amendments separately? We'd like to cover the first several.
Make a motion to approve all.
Approve all, including the new amendment of 63-06, 2025.
Yes, sir. I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Kane Rogers,
Yes.
Lanny Selby,
Yes.
Thomas Markison,
Yes.
Jordan Koch,
Yes.
Roger Mason,
Yes.
Becky Golden,
Yes.
Dakota White,
Yes.
TK Austin,
Yes.
Robert McCormick,
Yes.
David Cranford,
Yes.
Chris Brington,
Yes.
Larry Daniels,
Yes.
Derek Hutchings,
Yes.
Kyle Goff.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? I have 14 yes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, we move on to the budget for fiscal year 2026. This is why you're all here, I think. This comes in 3 components. The first is Resolution 5706, 2025. This is a revenue resolution. In this resolution, you will not see the mention of the property tax rate. However, we do give the revenue that we will need, and we also give the value of our penny. So coming from general fund, we have $11,492,473. And our penny is $97,394. So if you do the math and you divide the almost $5 million by the value of our penny, that is 118 pennies, or let's say $1.18 from general fund. We have to the highway department, $292,182. That's approximately 3 pennies. And then we have $3,506,178 to the general purpose school fund. That's approximately 36. So there's not a mention of a property tax value in there, but if you add 118.3 and 36, you get 157. So we are voting on revenue by state mandate, but you can do the math there and see where the property tax will fall. Next is Resolution 5806, 2025. This is an appropriations resolution. This can be in congruence with the resolution before it. This is taking the funds and dispersing them to the various accounts and departments where they need to be based on budget committee recommendations. And lastly, Resolution 5906, 2025. This is the nonprofit resolution authorizing the county to give donations to various 501c3s in the county. There are no changes from last year's fiscal year 2025 nonprofit resolution. These are donations to 9 volunteer fire departments plus the city of Sparta, the Rescue Squad and E911, the Senior Citizen Center, now known as the Activity Center, Soil Conservation District, the Chamber of Commerce and the Highlands Economic Partnership, UCHRA and UCDD, Pace Setters, the White County Library and YMCA, the Industrial Development Board, WCHS Project Graduation, and the Veterans Honor Guard.
All right, thank you for the explanation. I wouldn't make a notation on that. We just approved $210,000 for an ambulance. So that 210 would come off of the $15,290,833. For round numbers, the $1.57 would be $1.55 because that was approved in our last motion. So we will need to vote on these three separately. We have 57-06-2025.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. What discussion do we have on this topic, gentlemen, ladies? Before we vote on this, I feel like I have to ask a question. I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't. It has been brought to my attention that we've had 3 commissioners meet in private, and I do not have that verified myself. But I was told that Commissioner Goff, Commissioner White, and Commissioner Rogers met in private after the last budget meeting and then eventually met with the Director of Finance. Is that true?
Are we on trial?
Well,
I mean, if I'd just like to know which path you're.
Well, I mean,
at this point.
We would be in violation of the Open Meetings Act if.
Open Meetings Act? Does that include the Monday restaurant after the meetings every Monday night?
The Monday restaurant.
We can read the sunshine law if you'd like.
I mean, I have.
However, I will say there is nothing in Resolution 5706-2025 that I have had much influence over whatsoever, and that's even being the chairman of the Budget Committee.
Okay.
Call the vote.
It was asked of me, and I had to ask the question. Roll call vote.
David Cranford,
Yes.
TK Austin,
Yes.
Thomas Markison,
No.
Roger Mason,
No.
Jordan Coke,
No.
Derek Hutchings,
No.
Becky Golden,
No.
Robert McCormick,
No.
Dakota White,
No.
Lanny Selby,
No.
Chris Brington,
No.
Kane Rogers,
No.
Larry Daniels,
No.
Kyle Goff.
No.
Please, guys.
Would anyone like to change their vote? I have 2 yes, 12 no.
All right, motion fails. That leaves us with Resolution 5806-2025 and 5906-2025 that cannot be approved because 57 was not passed, so I would entertain a motion to send both of those back to Budget Committee.
Make a motion.
A motion and a second. Roll call.
Kyle Goff,
Yes.
Larry Daniels,
Yes.
Kane Rogers,
Yes.
Chris Brington,
Yes.
Lanny Selby,
Yes.
Dakota White,
Yes.
Robert McCormick,
Yes.
Becky Golden,
Yes.
Derek Hutchings,
Yes.
Jordan Koch,
Yes.
Roger Mason,
Yes.
Thomas Markison,
Yes.
TK Austin,
Yes.
David Cranford.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? I have 14 yes.
All right, motion carries. Number 10, resolution from Industrial Development Board. Mr. Executive, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Resolution 6006, 2025 is confirming action taken by the Industrial Development Board of White County to loan Jackson Kayak $200,000 at 4% for 10 years to purchase a loan. This is coming out of a fund that came from a grant back years ago, a revolving loan fund, and that's all it can be used for, is to loan money to businesses. This request for project funding, this is from Jackson Kayak, is for the purchase of a biaxial oven to support the production of existing and new businesses for the Sparta Plastics and Jackson Kayak product lines. Jackson Kayak currently employs 140 individuals, and during the last 12 months has acquired 2 additional businesses, Werner Paddles and Eddy Line Kayaks, which has more than doubled the revenue potential for the business. And I'm going to pause right there just for a second. Those businesses was brought back into the country from Mexico to be produced here in White County, which was a big accomplishment, and I appreciate them working and doing that. It says, in addition to the water sport business, the Sparta location provides contract manufacturing services for multiple customers in various industries. These businesses include Play Nation, Vault, Mod Tub, Railway, Fitness, and several others. The growth of the contract manufacturing business reduces the seasonality for the business revenue stream. This new oven, which is similar to the biaxial oven purchased several years ago, which if y'all remember, we made a loan on that to them for that, will provide a capacity to continue the growth of Sparta Plastics with opportunities for new customers, primarily in the construction industry, and also provide the capacity to produce many of the smaller whitewater kayaks at reduced oven times and with less waste. Any questions?
That Industrial Development Board, the funds they're already there for this.
They are there, yes.
And this is going to create more jobs for the
Create more jobs. They're anticipating 10 to 12 new jobs will come with this oven.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Lanny Selby,
Yes.
Chris Brington,
Yes.
Kane Rogers,
Yes.
Derek Hutchings,
Yes.
TK Austin,
Yes.
Dakota White,
Yes.
David Cranford,
Yes.
Larry Daniels,
Yes.
Kyle Goff,
Yes.
Becky Golden,
Yes.
Robert McCormick,
Yes.
Roger Mason,
Yes.
Jordan Koch,
Yes.
Thomas Markison.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? I have 14 yes.
All right, motion carries. Resolution 61-06, 2025, appointing George Daniels, Sparta White County Senior Activity Board, Executive Robinson. I guess that's pretty self-explanatory. You have the authority to appoint that, and we just have to approve the appointment.
Correct.
All right.
Motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Kane Rogers,
Yes.
Lanny Selby,
Yes.
Thomas Markison,
Yes.
Jordan Koch,
Yes.
Roger Mason,
Yes.
Becky Golden,
Yes.
Dakota White,
Yes.
TK Austin,
Yes.
Robert McCormick,
Yes.
David Cranford,
Yes.
Chris Brington,
Yes.
Larry Daniels,
Yes.
Derek Hutchings,
Yes.
Kyle Goff.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? I have 14 yes.
All right, motion carries. Next on the agenda, we have notaries.
I have Devin Benson, Andrea Brown, Debbie Johnson, Christy McCaleb, and Caleb Schuler.
Entertain a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 13, old business. So I have one particular thing from old business. We had an opioid resolution that was tabled, I believe, at our last meeting for the sheriff's department. There's been discussion with the sheriff and the executive's office, and there's a better understanding of the guidelines between what the sheriff and the deputy, or in the executive are going to do, and I've been told that that resolution is in favor, sheriff and executive, from the way it was reading, previously wrote. So we're asking that we bring that off the table and make a motion to approve those opioid funding for the sheriff.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Dakota White,
Yes.
Becky Golden,
Yes.
TK Austin,
Yes.
Roger Mason,
Yes.
Jordan Koch,
Yes.
Kyle Goff,
Yes.
Robert McCormick,
Yes.
Larry Daniels,
Yes.
Kane Rogers,
Yes.
Thomas Markison,
Yes.
David Cranford,
Yes.
Chris Brington,
Yes.
Lanny Selby,
Yes.
Derek Hutchings.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? I have 14 yes.
All right, motion carries. Do we have any other old business to come before the commission?
I just, before we get to the point where we're adjourned and we got everybody in here, I wanted to thank everybody that has been coming for the last couple of weeks. I would ask and plead with you, as the budget committee is now going to be faced with coming up with Plan B, because we still, as a county, we still have to pass the budget. Please stay involved, because the issues that were there before, the employee compensation and the other things that were in that budget, those things still have to be resolved. So stay involved. Just because this budget didn't pass tonight doesn't mean that we don't have to pass one. We've still got to get a budget passed.
And I would like to add to that too. If I've taken anything away from the budget process this year, is transparency. That's what you guys are demanding, and you deserve. And responsibility with the budget. Department heads, I ask that you participate with us in this process. I know you guys come and ask. We asked for $1.57 because of ask from the department heads. If you guys are advocating for raises and equipment that you desperately need, we need the support from you guys so the county understands why we're asking for those items and why we're doing this. This responsibility cannot fall solely on the 14 commissioners that work part-time. We need the understanding and support from our department heads to explain this. Is why we're trying to do what we're trying to do, because the asks ultimately come from you guys. And it falls on us to approve it, but we're asking for participation. I'm not saying nobody has it, but we see that the county does not want $1.57, so I'm asking for you guys to go back and look for additional cuts that you can present to us at our next meeting. Thank you.
And while you're on that, I guess the second biggest question beside the raises that I've had people text, call, pull me aside at the store is the $40,000 assistant, the additional assistant. That is the biggest thing I've had asked. You know, why all of a sudden it's needed.
Did you get my email?
I did. But
Well, and I'll just add too that when you get down to it and we dig into this thing again, everybody has to understand that the only real movement in this tax rate is with employee compensation. That's the only real opportunity to make a big dent. The $40,000 she just brought up is a half a penny, not even a half a penny. So you can do those things, but in order to get any real movement, that employee pay is where it's at. And so we're either going to have to decide that we're going to pay these first responders and EMS guys and people that take care of us in the county, or we're not. And that's really where it's going to come down to, because in order to move that $1.57 anywhere else, it's going to take that to do it. We're going to have to take money away from these guys that are protecting and serving.
Are we going to be able to have any input here?
Yes.
So
We're all here. I think a lot of
We
people-
had a 30 minutes
we
before.
we had 30 minutes prior to the meeting
Prior to
for,
the meeting.
You said the meeting didn't start till 6.
Derek, when will we get the states, what they set the rate at? When will we get that dead number? That exact
Executive
number?
Robinson, do we know when we'll have that number?
I would assume either by the end of the month or the first of next month. It's up to them for their, to do their calculations.
Okay.
On that same line that you said, Derek, right there is about, their input right here is, I'm with you 100%. Each head of each department right there is, I'm all for this raise right here is. But we've got to, as a county, quit wasteful spending this money.
I would like an example of the wasteful spending.
Like I said, don't ask me that, you don't have to tell me.
That's what I thought. We didn't have any.
It's just like, I see it, it's just wasteful spending.
You're a commissioner, Mr. Brewington. I encourage you to have a proposal for the next budget meeting and examples of the wasteful spending for us to review and look at.
That's the second time you've brought the wasteful spending up.
Okay, apples and apples, and oranges and oranges. I call it like I see it.
But you're not giving examples. We're asking for examples.
Well, just like she just said, $40,000 right there, that's just wasteful money right there. This Parks and Rec right here, a full-time, come on, let's dump it here a part-time before we get here a full-time right there. To make sure it's going to work right there before right there. Just stuff like it right there it's just wasteful spending right there, EMA director right there. And Matt's a good EMA director part-time, but right now we don't need a full-time. That's just wasteful spending.
Those three examples are not even happening. You said we were doing wasteful spending. Those are future expenditures. What's happening now? I want an example of wasteful spending. You've called it out, I want to hear it.
That's just like the.
Because you don't have any. Thank you.
Just like the landfill right there is, $40,000 right there is. Yeah. It seems like we sold it to them on credit. You ask for my opinion, I'm gonna tell you.
Any other comments from the commissioners? While we have a quorum, should we set our next budget meeting? Would that be possible to discuss that?
I don't think you need to vote on a meeting date.
We needed time.
Just a,
But Budget Committee Chairman can set the.
set a date, yeah.
Do you, Mr. Chairman, do you have a proposed date to meet? I would prefer to start meeting sooner than later.
Thursday? Did you say?
Thursday or Friday.
Thursday the 19th?
Thursday, the 19th?
We have one member of the committee that will not be able to.
That is a holiday. I'm going to be out of town.
Oh, yeah, Thursday.
That's a federal holiday, right?
Yes.
So, say Friday the 20th, Monday the 23rd, the Republican Party meets in this room, so we would have to accommodate them. Can you do Friday?
I can do Monday, I can do Tuesday.
But you'll be back next week. So the 24th,
Tuesday, the 24th?
you'll be back then?
Yes, I will be here.
5:30?
I can do Tuesday, the 24th at 5:30.
Does that work for Chad?
Chad, does that work for you?
What time?
5:30.
You said this meeting was gonna start at 6, that's why I came at 6. Now you told me I can't speak.
We had public comment from 5:30 till 6, but we still
That
have,
was never posted anywhere.
we still have, I will recognize you.
Okay.
You were the only one that missed the memo, but we still have recognition from the audience and the agenda, so I will allow you your 3 minutes to speak, sir.
I appreciate it. Very much.
So we have the 24th at 5:30 for the next budget committee meeting.
23rd, 24th. 24th at 5:30.
Okay. So we were on old business. There's no additional old business? Do we have any new business? Okay. Recognition from the audience. Sir, you can come up.
Thank you, Mr. Archer, I appreciate it. It's just that I've been in every minute of every meeting for all of this. And I just want to say again, it's been discussed a lot, the raises. For the county employees, I think it's still a little bit too high. You have given raises of 3% last year, 5% the previous 2 years. It's a 13% increase in raises. Now you want to give them 15% on top of that. That's just absolutely outrageous, that you're going to give them a 15% raise in 1 year. Plus you want to start the longevity bonus this year also. I think the longevity bonus is plenty for 1 year. That's a lot of people have been here 5, 10 years. That's a lot of money they're going to get extra this year.
It's $100.
To ask for the longevity bonus, which is already pretty much being approved, and a 15% raise is absolutely outrageous. I negotiated many contracts at UPS while I was there. Never, at UPS, we never got raises like this in our whole life. That is just way too much money. We absolutely do not need an EMS director for this county. It's not that busy. Putnam has so many more firemen, so many more police. They may need one, but we don't need one. We're not that big yet. That's 70 grand a year just being thrown in the garbage. What we need to do, instead of every employee in the county getting raises, is I believe that we need to make sure to give our fire department and our police department the raises they need to keep those employees. Just as was said in a couple of meetings back here, we lost 3 EMS people at the end of May, the last day of May. Nobody even applied to replace those jobs yet. We don't have enough EMS people to run this county as we stand today. That's insane. We gotta quit losing our deputies. We have to quit losing our EMS people. And we must provide the money just for those guys to keep those people in this county and give them the proper due raises they got coming. But not every employee in the county. Every employee in the county, that's ridiculous. That pay is low. I work with the jail closely on some things over there with Steve, and I see how many people leave and go to the next county over all the time because it's quite a bit more money. That's got to stop. We can't lose our EMS guys. We've got to protect our fire and police for everything we need.
We don't pay our fire guys. They're all volunteers.
I know they're volunteers, but the EMS guys are not. All those guys and the drivers are paid. My neighbor's one of them, but we're in trouble right now. We're in serious trouble.
Thank you for your comment. I think.
Thank you for giving me that.
I think.
Tom, I appreciate that.
That's why the commission voted down the $1.57 because.
Well, I think we need to vote that down because it's been said the raises are the big thing.
It's been
But we have to
voted
make
down,
sure.
That's why we're going.
It's been voted down, sir.
Yes, but what is important is we have to get that down, but we have to protect our police and fire with the money needed. I'm sure Chad can work it out so that just police and fire get the raises they need.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Guys, thank you so very much. The citizens of White County is really going to be happy. Thank you. And I understand y'all have worked really hard, and I've been here every meeting y'all been here. And I really appreciate that. I think there's ways that we can work things out to be beneficial for the county.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second.
Third.
We are adjourned.